how quickly everything changes. Really, how quickly everything changes, you see. Only Thailand stays the same. No strong summer, no strong winter, just sea, equipoised. Which leads me to my shloka of today. Hare Krishna, but first of all, well, let devotees come together. It's a verse. I have a verse up my sleeve, which is one of those verses which we keep remembering at odd times and think, oh yes, this is the situation of the world. So you're all wondering what that verse is going to be. But in the meantime, we're back to basics with the devotees. So first of all, I know we're only 2 minutes in, but we're in a royal gathering already. We can always give more obeisances later to more devotees. But first of all, obeisances to all of the devotees. So Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. And let us also chant to Guru and to Gauranga. And these are all verses that we know each word of because we've gone through them before. So Om Agyan Timarandasya and then Namo Maha Vadanyaya. So let us chant together this. So Om Agyan Timirandasya Jnanan Chalakaya Chakshur Anmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Then Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Nam Godadvije Namaha. And we can all say the Panchatattva and then Hare Krishna. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Already our meeting is successful. We've given our obeisances to the Vaishnavas, to Guru, to Gauranga, Panchatattva. And the Maha Mantra, we've chanted the Panchatattva, chanted the Maha Mantra. So a good way to start the day, good way to end the day, and a good way to have the morning of the day for those in India and Thailand and the rest of us, other parts of the world. See, still we're all in unique places. Nirupama Devi Dasi joined us from Ukraine, and Rukmini Devi Dasi joined us from Colombia. So we're truly international. Yes, Praneshwari Didi.
Rukmini joined from Alachua in Florida.
Oh, Alachua. Okay, she's in Alachua. Sorry, Rukmini. Yeah, because we remember the devotees. Alachua, I hardly even know the name. It sounds like something on another planet. But
it's ISKCON planet. It's a beautiful ISKCON community.
Oh, really?
Very large ISKCON community. Yes, very large, very beautiful.
So, Rukmini Didi, you're living there amongst the devotees.
Yes, Maharaj.
Oh, Jai, very good, very good.
Yes, I have several family members that live here for more than 25 years or 30 years. So that's why we got here.
So you're living with pure devotees. Good. I mean, really good that you've got that community. And I have no idea where Alachua is. Would you like to give a 2-minute summary of where you are and actually what takes place there so we can hear?
Yes, we are
longer. It doesn't have to be exactly 2 minutes. Sorry, I mean a short summary. Yes.
Yeah, we are about 20 or 25 minutes from a city that is called Gainesville in Florida. And it's known because here is the University of Florida. So it's like a student big community in Gainesville. We are North Florida, almost very close to Georgia. So we're kind of far from Miami, from Praneshwari Diri, actually. We're kind of far. And there is a big community here. I think this is the biggest community of devotees in the country, here in Alachua. Around probably 1,000 families of devotees here in a small town.
1,000 families of devotees in a small town. Wonderful. And does everybody come together, or is it simply kind of a devotee town?
Well, many people goes to the temple, the ISKCON temple. Like most of the people get together there, but there is a lot of devotees that actually just live around. And it's because it's so many people, probably it's hard to know everybody. It's many devotees.
And do you have any association with the Gurudev or Guru Maharaj's disciples?
Well, only Ramachandra, the Syamagori's son, he moved here probably 4 years ago, and he's my spiritual brother, and he's the only person. And now there is like 2 families that are moved in Orlando, Sulalita and Nimai Priya, but we are two hours away.
Okay. And how about Srila Prabhupada's disciples? Are there many or just a few?
Many senior disciples.
Okay, wonderful.
Yes.
Jai. When I would visit to the ISKCON temple in Vrindavan to go to Srila Prabhupada's Samadhi, and in the morning if we start early in the morning, and sometimes we're doing parikrama of Vrindavan, chanting japa, then the ISKCON temple, the Krishna Balaram Mandir, it was very kind of handy place to go, more than halfway around, but they would be doing their japa period. And I would go in there and I'd see these older devotees and I just wanted to talk to them. But of course we can't because it's the japa period, but we just want to know like their life with Srila Prabhupada or in the early days, because everyone's got some gems with them. Do take spiritual advantage of their association, Rukmini Didi.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yes.
I try.
To be with the senior devotees, this is very beneficial for us. Not only beneficial, it is joy for us to be with them. All right, so we are with who we are. And Nimai Priya is here too, not only 2 hours from Alachua, but Nimai Priya in Kiev, Ukraine, where they are being very adventurous and arranging 2 festivals for Veda life in Kiev and a 1-week-long festival in Govinda land. So Kiev is opening up, and we hope everything will be successful. Last year they tried to arrange a program at Govinda land and they got a knock on the door and said, no, you can't. But this year it seems to be that the lights are on green, that it's going to take place. So maybe not 1,000 families of devotees like in Alachua, but nice, I mean, good gathering of devotees and the opportunity for more and more to come and serve there. So everywhere we can get encouragement, seeing the savor of the Vaishnavas. Jai. And Rupa Vilas Prabhu. Always, well, I was thinking of some new way to chant your glories, but just to chant the glories of the Vaishnava, it doesn't have to be always a new way. To be a steady, faithful devotee for many years, and often without close association, many devotees around. It is very praiseworthy, very honorable. So Rupa Vilas Prabhu, our honorable devotee in Manila, adding yet another place on the map, another pin on the map for all the different devotees here. All right, let's now move on. Association, gatherings of devotees, wonderful. And really, it's an inspiration to hear. Thank you, Rukmini, for sharing that. And for Praneshwari Didi for pointing out that she is there. Hare Krishna. So if you like, well, first of all, it is sort of good if we do our homework, those 2 batches of 4, just to cover them, to keep them well within our mind. 2 batches of 4 of the Upadeśāmṛta of Rupa Goswami. By the way, I do have Facebook on, and I do see hearts flying into the sky, but I don't see any names, so I don't know who's there. Maybe Praneshwari did it. You have some mystic vision to
There,
be able to
there is a like from Anjali. Anjali.
Okay, Anjali.
I don't know. Anjali. I don't know.
Okay. Well, it can be Anjali in Germany. It can be also Anjali in Ukraine. If there are actually 1 or 2 Anjalis in the world with us. So Anjali, we're very happy to have you with us. And we're happy to see your hearts going in the sky. If Facebook had Dandabats that went in the sky, I'm sure there'd be those there too, because the hearts are our expression when we can't find the special devotee icons. So beautiful. All right. So who better than Paramananda Prabhu to just give us a quick, or should we go, Paramananda Prabhu, should we go 1 by 1 through the verses and ask the devotees, or is that too tortuous?
It is a little bit torturous.
Okay, then we don't want any little bit. Paramananda Prabhu, you give us the first batch of 4, the 6, 6, 6, and 6, which makes 24. We can write some poetry too. So these are the 6 items.
I presume all the devotees they know already, so I can just go on with the original script in Sanskrit. Or you want me to do the English as well?
I think we need the English, Prabhu.
All right.
To get the actual meaning. I also need the English, I mean, quite honestly. Maybe the first one, but...
No, the first one,
slowly, I'll probably be okay. If we go very slowly, I'll probably be okay. But to get the meaning, let us try to focus there. Yeah.
But you are very good at, doing the showing it, especially with the first verse.
Well, because I'm in Italy, and then they use
Manasa, Krodha Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Uddara Prastha Vegam, Etam Vegan Yovisha Heta Dhira, Sarvam Apivam Prithivim Chashishya. So those who control, well, I don't have to translate, Madhusudana Maharaj did the whole thing.
You have to translate.
Those who control speech, vacho, manasa, mind, krodha, anger, jiva, uddara prastha, belly and genitals, is qualified to accept disciples all over the world. He is qualified to be the spiritual master. And then further we go, atyahara, prayasascha, prajalpa, niyamagraha, janasangascha laulyamscha sadbir bhakti vinashyati. So the 6 activities that destroy devotion. Atyahara, accumulating more than necessary. Prayasa, to endeavor for something that is very difficult to, over-endeavoring basically for mundane things. Prayasa, atyahara prayasa. Prajalpa, unnecessary talks, mundane talks. Niyamagraha, not following rules or regulations, or following them way too much and thinking, replacing them with the ideal, with the substance. So I have to be careful there. And then jana sangash, association with those who are mundane people, have no interest in spiritual life, no interest in Krishna whatsoever. So these are sadbir bhakti vinashyati, 6 types of activities that would destroy devotion. The next one, utsaha nisharyat taryat, tat karma pravartanat, sangatya gosato vrite, Sadbhir Bhakti Prasiditi. So 6 activities that will enhance our devotional life. And that will be Utsahan, enthusiasm. Nishcharya, to endeavor with confidence. Dharya, be humble and tolerant. Tat karma, to follow scriptural, what are the rules and regulations, certain rules and regulations coming from sadhu, guru, and shastra. And then avoid inauspicious association and always follow the footsteps of the devotees, footsteps of the higher section of the devotees. And then our favorite verse, Dadati Pratigrihnati Guhyam Apyati Prichati, Bhumte Bhojayate Chaiva, Sadvidhi Priti Lakshanam, 6 loving exchanges between the devotees. Dadati Pratigrihnati, to offer gifts and receive gifts. Guhyam Apyati Prichati, to open your heart and receive the revelation. That exchange is also very important between the devotees. And then the last one is Bhumte Bhojayate Cheva, to honor prasadam together. So these are loving exchanges, loving relationship between the devotees.
Jai, very good. And now, Praneshwari Devidasi, the next 4, the bundle that we covered last week, means now we have 2 verses and 2 more verses about the Vaishnavas. And then we have 2 more verses giving us much inspiration about the wonder of the holy name and the sum and substance of all advice. So Praneshwari Didi, would you like to just do our recap of that second bundle of verses?
Maharaj, I have to read. It's impossible for me to say it.
Okay, read it, no problem.
From heart.
No problem. Do you have it?
Yeah, I have it now. So text 5, one should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone a spiritual initiation, diksha, and is engaged in worshiping the deity. And one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. The next one, text 6, being situated in his original Krishna conscious position, a pure devotee does not identify with the body. Such a devotee should not be seen from a materialistic point of view. Indeed, one should overlook a devotee as having a body born in a low family, a body with a bad complexion, a deformed body, or a diseased or infirm body. According to ordinary vision, such imperfections may seem prominent in the body of a pure devotee. But despite such seeming defects, the body of a pure devotee cannot be polluted. It is exactly like the waters of the Ganges, which sometimes during the rainy season are full of bubbles, foam, and mud. The Ganges waters do not become polluted. Those who are advanced in a spiritual understanding will bathe in the Ganges without considering the condition of the water. Number 7, text 7. The holy name, character, pastimes, and activities of Krishna are all transcendently sweet like sugar candy. Although the tongue of one afflicted by the jaundice of avidya, ignorance, cannot taste anything sweet, it is wonderful that simply by carefully chanting these sweet names every day, a natural relish awakens within his tongue, and his disease is gradually destroyed at the root. And the last of the bundle, number 8, the essence of all advice is that one should utilize one's full time, 24 hours a day, in nicely chanting and remembering the Lord's divine name, transcendental form, qualities, and eternal pastimes, thereby gradually engaging one's tongue and mind. In this way, one should reside in Vraja, Goloka Vrindavan Dham, and serve Krishna under the guidance of devotees. One should follow in the footsteps of the Lord's beloved devotees who are deeply attached to his devotional service.
It is wonderful to hear these verses. Really, it is wonderful to hear them. We've read them, heard them, listened to them countless times. But this is the very substance of our lives coming through Upadeśāmṛta. And actually, I think that we should today also just do our revision for the last 3 verses, because they are very high verses. I mean, even this last verse is very high, that we will, okay, what are we to do? To constantly chant the holy name of the Lord, be with the devotees, reside in Braja. But then, of course, we have to give this emphasis about what is Braja, and as we are about to come to the next 3 verses, what is Radha Kund, etc. That it is something which, it is the place which we keep high, not only on our head, but like far above our head from our situation, and must give all honor and respect for our own safety. So we've got the next 3 verses. So this last verse is saying about we must reside in Braja, which means, as Srila Prabhupada and all our masters say, to reside with the devotees. And if we cannot do, you can say physically, in our consciousness, in what we are doing every day, everything, the substance is consciousness. And so these next 3 verses all conclude with Radha Kund in one way or another. And the next 3 verses, in summary, the first is about the gradation of places. The next one is about the gradation of the personalities, the nature, the seeker of truth, but the gradation of the persons, if you like. And the last one is just the ultimate conclusion. You know, everything, the ultimate conclusion. So the gradation of places, gradation of the practitioners, and then nothing more to be said. Here is the ultimate plane. So it's not exactly the very basis, in the sense of back to basics, but these 11 verses are for us to take in their totality. I mean, one by one, but this is the whole story of what is our devotional life, the whole picture of our devotional life. And the later parts of the picture, we worship, knowing that we've not crossed verse 1, verse 2, verse 3, verse 4, verse 5, verse 6, verse 7, verse 8. So knowing that we haven't made ourselves totally molded there, we come to honor, to just understand, oh, this is the wonderful upper world. Let us hear about that. So 9, 10, 11, that's the last 3 verses of Upadeśāmṛta. And it is revision, but it is also relishing. It is revision, relishing, revision, something like this. All right. And so I used to have in front of me those verses, but they have disappeared.
Maharaj, in the chat, you have 9 to 11. The last
Okay.
one is a PDF.
Very good. 9 to 11, click. So verse number 9. Anyway, we do know that the verse number 9, it is a very famous verse. It's in Prapanajivanamrita. Oh, actually, all of these verses of Upadeśāmṛta are in Prapanajivanamrita. But we hear it translated, okay, number 9 to 11. Double click. And this verse is this Vaikuntaj Janito Vara Madhupuri Tatrapi Rasotsavat Vrindaranyam Udarapani Ramanath Tatrapi Govardhanaha Radha Kundam Ihapi Gokula Pate Premamrita Pravanat Kuryadasya Virajato Giritate Sevam Viveki Nakaha. And Kumkum Devidasi, would you like to read us that translation?
Yes, Maharaj. My benefit. I am happy. The holy place known as Mathura is spiritually superior to Vaikuntha, the transcendental world, because the Lord appeared there. Superior to Mathura, Puri is the transcendental forest of Vrindavan because of Krishna's Rasa Leela pastimes. And superior to the forest of Vrindavan is Govardhan Hill, for it was raised by the divine hand of Sri Krishna and was the site of his various loving pastimes. And above all, the super excellent Sri Radha Kund stands supreme, for it is overflooded with the ambrosial nectarian prema of the Lord of Gokula, Sri Krishna. Where then is that intelligent person who is unwilling to serve this divine Radha Kund, which is situated at the foot of Govardhan Hill?
And how will we serve? Through Gurudev and Guru Maharaj, through Srila Prabhupada, through Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, through the residents whose eternal identity, eternal place is there, rendering service at Radha Kund. And this is not a dream or a convenient fairy story. This is the reality of our present time. Again, just a little glimpse of like the inconceivably fortunate opportunities we have right now. So next life, we do not know where we will be. We do not know where we have been, but we know where we are now. And we shall try to keep ourselves safe and sound and keep these topics high on our head, high above our head. Hare Krishna, Kumkum, appreciate. And we do hear this quoted regularly, and to give us the understanding of the gradation of the upper world and the acme of spiritual journey, which is still, not that we've got to the end, but there it is, an ever increasing ocean of ecstatic joy. I've read that somewhere before too. And you all know Cheto Dapanang Marjanang Baba, this verse. Everything is there too. Okay, so that's about the gradation of the places, the holy places, the holiest places. And now we are coming to the gradation of the practitioners. So next verse, verse 10. Karmibhya parito hare priyataya vyakting vayu jnaninas. Tebhyo jnana vimukta bhakti parama premaika nishtastatha. Tebhyastha pashupala pankaja drishashtabhyo pisa radhika. Preshta tatvad iyam tadiya sarasi tang na shrayet ka kriti. And I think, Kumkum, you can please read this one too, and also the last one when we come there. We can all hear from you. It is very good for us.
Very good for myself. In the Shastra, it is said that all types of fruitive workers, he who is advanced in knowledge of the higher values of life is favored by the Supreme Lord Hari. Out of many such people who are advanced in knowledge, Gyanis, one who is practically liberated by virtue of his knowledge may take to devotional service. He is superior to the others. However, one who has actually attained prema, pure love of Krishna, is superior to him. The gopis are exalted above all the advanced devotees because they are always totally dependent upon Sri Krishna, the transcendental cowherd boy. Among the gopis, Srimati Radharani is the most dear to Krishna. Her Kunda lake is as profoundly dear to Lord Krishna as this most beloved of the gopis. Who then will not reside at Radha Kunda and in a spiritual body surcharged with ecstatic feelings of prakrita bhava, render loving service to the divine couple, Shri Radha Govinda, who perform their Astakalya Leela, their eternal eightfold daily pastimes. Indeed, those who execute devotional service on the banks of Radha Kunda are the most fortunate people in the universe.
And all the way through everybody's purport and commentary, then we see that all of this is the states of consciousness, nothing of this world. So again, we must be very cautious about all these statements. Remember, we've got to go through our verse 1. Let's start with verse 1, and verse 2, verse 3, verse 4. And then step by step, and by getting that grace of those pure devotees, then some glimpse of that land comes to us. We cannot go to it. And this is coming by the grace of our masters and by the grace of Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, and Veera Chandra also, Gurudev saying Veera Chandra, Veerabhadra, is giving more generous than Nityananda, because Veerabhadra is giving us Nitai and Chaitanya. And there we are getting Radha Krishna, we are getting the highest access to the highest plane, but through service, through everything. Then when they are pleased, we are given that opportunity. So again, all of this is the worshipable plane, like we have on the front of the Nat Mandir. We are the worshippers. We've got our feet on the ground, but we are the worshippers of that plane, staying safe, but showing that there is gradation of places, and here is gradation of the practitioners, and then coming up to the residents of the land of Radha Kund on the beside Govardhan Hill. And now the last verse, which we put on our head, I mean, because it is above our pay grade, as some expression goes, but it is here for us to worship, and we have come through Upadeśāmṛta. So verse number 11, if I make it a bit bigger, Krishnasyochchai pranaya vasati prayasi bhyopi radha kundang chasya munibhir abhitas tadrik eva vyadhai yat preshtair apyalam asula banking punar bhakti bhajam tat premedang sakrit api sarasnatur avishkaroti. Hare Krishna. Wonderful sloka. Kum Dili.
Of the many objects of favored delight and of all the lovable damsels of Brajabhumi, Srimati Radharani is certainly the most treasured object of Krishna's love, and in every respect, her divine Kunda is described by great sages as similarly dear to him. Undoubtedly, Radha Kunda is very rarely attained, even by the great devotees. Therefore, it is even more difficult for ordinary devotees to attain. If one simply bathes once within those holy waters, one's pure love of Krishna is fully aroused.
Again, spiritual. Above our pay grade, let us hold all of that on our heads, and please don't go buy a ticket and jump in the waters of Radha Kund of this world, because that is a big no-no from all of our masters. We take 3 drops of water, a few drops of water, put on our head, and not put our body or our feet or anything in that Kund. We'll take some water on our head and worship what is Radha Kund beyond our vision. Hare Krishna. Well, we started with 1 or 2 verses of Upadeśāmṛtam as revision, but really it is wonderful to go through Upadeśāmṛtam, and we've done this over these today and the last 2 gatherings. And the batch of 4, and then the final intense batch of 3 we've covered. And I have to admit, I previously thought of batch of 3, and then the last section giving like 2 and then 3. But 4, 4, and 3 also is actually very good, because my batch of 3 and batch of 3 was like the things we control. And then, so we have to control the senses. Then we have to control what is going to damage our faith. Then what's going to give us our success in life. So that was the first 3. The next 3 are all to do with the Vaishnavas, the loving relationship with the Vaishnavas, the way to respect the Vaishnavas, and not to see any mud and bubbles in the Vaishnavas. And then, so this way, but actually the 4 and 3, it does work very well. So different ways for us to remember what is in the Upadeśāmṛtam, and please do try to remember. And Paramananda, who knows all of these verses in the Sanskrit form, and I'm sure it's because he recited them every day. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if we recite all the verses as a daily practice for some time, then they do become a little, well, of course, much easier to say. I mean, for instance, in the morning and in the evening, we do recite Vandeham Śrī Upadeśāmṛta Śrī Gurun Vaishnavanscha, and really it does turn into, oh, yeah, I can say it without the book kind of thing after a little while. So it's also a very good daily practice for some time to read these verses. And as
Maharaj, I have to say, thank you. And ISKCON have so many wonderful things.
Yes.
One of their wonderful things is actually something that is called Bhakta program.
Yes.
So when you go to the Bhakta program, there's no way you're not going to remember Upadeśāmṛtam, at least in the form of Sanskrit or Russian or English translation of that. Ishopanishad, Brahma Samhita, Bhagavad Gita, they make sure you do remember at least the key verses of that. So it's a good point. And actually what you're doing is wonderful. But just one thing I want to add, to know means to practice, to put your heart into it. And I don't know, Maharaj. I am the parrot without the feathers. But I want one day to become full-fledged parrot, fully feathered parrot. Then I will know, and then I can, oh yes, I know, and I can tell you. But now I don't. And I have to confess, I've been jumping into Radha Kund, following the senior Vaishnavas and actually my guru for quite some time. Before I met Srila Guru Maharaj, books, Srila Gurudev, Srila Saraswati Thakur, and then I understood what is what, really, by the grace of Guru Maharaj, by the grace of Gurudev. At least something have come.
This is the expression of the Vaishnavas. Everybody else, you can turn off your loudspeaker, but to the others we can say, this is the expression of the Vaishnavas. And I mean, and really it is so, but it is also the fact we're worshipping all of these shlokas. Verse number 1, we are also worshipping. And when we see everything in the perspective of Srila Saraswati Thakur, read the commentary, you see he's starting even from there, that even mentally, even a thought will come in any of the unrestricted senses. Even if we don't do, then it's out of the boundary. We need to bring everything within this essence of the teachings of Rupa Goswami in Upadeśāmṛta. Anyway, very happily we've covered this. And because I had this shloka already, I'm still going to take this opportunity of what I wanted to say at the beginning. I have a verse here, and we've just come across this because we're reading here. We've started to read, like as the Parayan, Śrīmad Bhagavatam from the beginning. Guess what? And so we're just early on in Śrīmad Bhagavatam, and it's very sweet because it's also natural. We're with the devotees, and we do everything as we're meant to do. And sometimes we should go through all of the books from beginning to end. And so here we are going through Śrīmad Bhagavatam, and we've come across a shloka which somehow or another has been in my mind for years, not the Sanskrit, I'm sorry, but the essence of it, because it's one of these slokas which just tells us everything. And now the trouble is I've got to find it. Oh dear, I had it before. Hare Krishna. Okay, I've got it. So this is, if you want to know where it is, it's Śrīmad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 7, Verse 17. I'm telling myself that too, because I've wondered where this is. And here it is. So first of all, Śrīmad Bhagavatam, let us give our proper honor. Dear Śrīmad Bhagavatam, Śrīmad Bhagavatam ki jai, Grantara Śrīmad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jai Shri Vedavyas ki jai. And so verse number 17 of chapter 7, Canto 3. But this verse, both the lowest fools and he who is transcendental to all intelligence enjoy happiness, whereas the persons between them suffer the material pangs. I mean, what a wonderful verse, if you don't mind me saying so. And because we're reading Śrīmad Bhagavatam, let's read the Sanskrit. Yascha mudatamo loke, yascha buddhe parangataha, tav ubhav sukham edhete, klishyat yantarito janaha. So this was a verse that, click, 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 so many clicking. This is the verse that came to mind. And just let us make it clear, we don't want to enter into the first description, which is the lowest of fools. So if we're not going to enter into the lowest of fools option, we've only got one more option left. Let's try to go for those who are, above the intelligent thing, the all intelligence and calculation and everything, who've come into actually what is the Ragamag devotional service of the Lord by the grace of those residents. Let us aspire for that. Otherwise, as this verse is telling us, everywhere in between, then we're going to have suffering. We're not going to have the joy, the overflowing joy. And in India, to some extent, but I can say from my days in Africa, we actually had an expression, there's one in every village, because somehow in every village was always some like quite crazy person who would be picking up paper in the street and doing this, that, and the other, but always looking very happy. I mean, always kind of joyful, because there they don't really take people and put them in institutes. They're just everything takes place in every village. So, you get some people who are really quite crazy, but looking, if you look at them and say, oh, they look happy. And so this verse is kind of giving a little confirmation to that. Yeah, like the craziest people, they're happy. And those who are but then the opposite, those who are the opposite, I mean, super above all of this material world, they are happy. But everywhere in between, then suffering is taking place. Whereas persons between them suffer the material pangs. So anyway, This is the verse I brought today. And this is in a chapter, by the way, of the title is maybe Further Inquiries by Vidura to Maitreya. Further Inquiries by Vidura. And perfect questions, perfect answers. And here we've got so many questions, but the questions are wonderful because they're all to the point of, how to solve all of this and how to understand where we are. Sambandha Gyan, where are we? What's going on? And then the goal, and then how to achieve the goal. I mean, really, just wonderful, plain, like straightforward, clean questions between two great, great souls, Vidura and Maitreya. And for those of us who go to, everybody goes to the pilgrimage places by heart, but when we go to Haridwar, Rishikesh, the gateway to the Himalayas, the gateway to God, Hari, God, Dwar, gateway, the doorway to God. Then this conversation took place at Haridwar, and we can guess that it's going to be there in these holy places where until today the magnificent daily worship of the Ganges takes place, and a wonderful atmosphere, even in the material, with our material senses, we see, oh, there's something very special here. And in Haridwar, this conversation took place between Vidura and Maitreya. Hare Krishna. And many questions are here. And to understand where we live, here's, okay, just right in front of me, here are one or two questions. Vidura is saying, O son of Mitra, kindly describe how the planets are situated above the earth, as well as underneath it. And also please mention their measurement, as well as that of the earthly planets. Also, please describe the living beings under different classifications. That is, the subhumans, humans, those born of the embryo, those born of perspiration, those who are twice born. Okay, here's a trick question. Who's going to answer? Who is Vidura referring to? Those who are twice born, in the context of some born from embryo, some born from perspiration. And so who are the twice born? Put up a hand. Oh, Jayadev's being very adventurous because he knows it's a trick question. He's still being very brave to say. Jayadev, oh, yes.
Like you, Maharaj.
What?
Like the Brahmanas. Dvija.
Okay, you fell straight into the trick question.
I figured.
It says here, those who are born from eggs. I also, when I read it, I had to reread this one. I thought, oh, the twice born.
Oh, I don't think you came from an egg, Maharaj.
Oh, well, in another sense, we all came from an egg, for all of us, in one sense, just seed. But yes, so the twice born are like the birds here. The egg is born, and then from the egg is coming out. Anyway, let me continue the question. So this is the asking, please describe the living beings under these different calculations. Okay, those who are born from the twice born, that's from the birds, and the plants and the vegetables. So he's asking that to describe that. Kindly describe their generations and subdivisions also. Please also describe the incarnations of the material modes of nature, Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshvara. And please describe the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his magnanimous activities. O great sage, kindly describe the divisions and orders of human society in terms of symptoms, behavior, and the characteristics of mental equilibrium and sense control. Also, please describe the births of the great sages and the categorical divisions of the Vedas. Anyhow, more. There's a whole list of questions here. But even the reading the questions is purifying to see this sincere inquiry. When we get the qualified disciple and the qualified master, wonderful things happen. And here we have example after example, but this taking place there in Haridwar, we have this wonderful conversation between Vidura and Maitreya, where we really do get to understand the things which frantically the scientist is blindly running here, there, and everywhere, completely like foolishly compared. If you read Bhagavatam and you read anything about research in the material world, it looks so pathetic, the scientists' research, and so speculative and so uninformed. Whereas Srimad Bhagavatam is telling us everything and telling us why we are here, our goal of life. And then let us all come to see that what is our proper usage of life, how temporary our life is, and how we should properly use our life. And Mahaprabhu has come to give us Bhagavatam, and give us Bhagavatam through the holy name. This Hare Krishna, this Maha Mantra. So it's a super time, super opportunity. We've got these books. We need to serve them by reading them in the way we should be, as far as possible, with other devotees, and continue our devotional life happily. And on that note, Kumkum did the first reading recently, right? Last, I do not know, Saturday or Sunday perhaps. How did it go, Kumkum? The first reading online.
Yes, I was so pleased. It's in California time, it's 12:30 p.m., just after noon on Sundays. And a few joined, like Jaidev Prabhu and Chintamani and Praneshwari, and also the disciple of Srila Guru Maharaj, my old friend Viraja. So I was extremely happy that was a time when she can come. And so she's been missing devotee association, and so now that's expanding for her. And I've had, she's also asked if another old friend of ours named Aja can join us tomorrow. So that's what we're hoping. But I got so much benefit by reading and beginning with Search for Sri Krishna, not skipping any of the purport, the forward or the preface or anything. And I know that I would not have got like that by just reading by myself. We can do that, but with the group together, then question may come up and the sweetness comes out more, because so many people are expressing appreciation for their words. So I'm very happy that this is going, and I hope that we'll see a lot more of them other places in the world.
Well, as you are saying that, just before you mentioned that, I am thinking that perhaps this is a project that Rukmini Didi can do in Alachua.
Yes.
That there's so many devotees and maybe just as an experiment, first of all, try to find one or two friends who you know will come, but then somewhere there with so many devotees, there must be some notice board or announcement of events to come, and you can make some search for Sri Krishna readings, group readings, and how many of Srila Prabhupada's disciples would actually relish this in when it's completely not any part of, resolution of GBC, this, that, and the other, which still exists, by the way, saying various very offensive things from before. They never rescinded that resolution. That was pointed out to me quite recently. So, we want to come out of any political thought and come to only the devotional channel, actually always. And I think that by the sounds of that community in Alachua, it will be a wonderful thing to do. And we can think another place where there are so many devotees, probably not I don't know if, no, not 1,000 families, but is Murwilumba, a place no one's ever heard of, except devotees, because it's in Eastern Australia, New South Wales, and somehow or another, the ISKCON started a farm there, and they now have a very reputable school with all government certification and everything, and but they have a whole community of their devotees, Gurudev's devotees, Guru Maharaj's devotees, like in the whole area. And you see the cashier in the shop is wearing Kontimala. The customers are wearing Kontimala. You see, there's so many devotees. But it is Australia. They don't all look like devotees so clearly. It's Australia, my friend. A mixed
That's a very nice idea.
Huh, Rukmini?
That's a very nice idea.
Yes, Didi. I think you can do something nicely. Try. We are only here as triers to try to do something good. And how much good you can do for the devotees. By introducing Guru Maharaj and Gurudev in a completely sweet devotional way, the reality. Yes. Hare Krishna. Ha. Rupa Vilas Prabhu, our quiet senior devotee, please give us a word from your heart, or as much as you like from your heart. Rupa Vilas Prabhu.
My dandavat to everyone. Please accept my humble wishes. Well, I'd like to tell you something that what we did here in the Philippines for the past years. Actually, I started this SS Math Book Study Group page in Filipino. At first, there are about 5 devotees attending. Some came from other math, like ISKCON, Gaudiya Math, etc. And then now we have about 53 devotees attending this study group. So we started with the search for Sri Krishna, reality, the beautiful. Then after that, with the search, Śrī Upadeśāmṛta grace. Now we're halfway with Golden Volcano of Divine Love. So sometimes you would see that I'm not present, I'm absent attending. It is because I'm also attending to the needs of the devotees here. And I have to translate everything in Filipino and then try to explain it to them in Filipino in the most appropriate way, though I could not say how appropriate it is, but the essence is still there, So as much as possible, I try to do it twice a week. So here now, so we have newcomers attending, and 3 are prospective devotees taking shelter, and they're seeking initiations. And in fact, 2 devotees was about to be initiated by Srila Acharya Maharaj, but unfortunately, he left. So the chanting video that he sent me is still with me. So that's my dilemma. I don't know what to do with that. So since this has an open up, I would like to seek your kind mercy and how I will do with that chanting beads. It's still with me.
Okay, so we can discuss this later, but I think what is very good is just now wait and see. Let that prospective disciple and give just little time, please give nourishment to everybody. And then with prayer to Guru Maharaj and Gurudev, then this will become clearer, because the disciple, it's not a quick matter of changing where we are putting our head. It is a matter of evolution. It must come from inside of each one. So now is wait and see, and keep that prayer to Krishna, that Krishna, please, I need your connection and guide me. This is the time of wait and see with prayer.
Yes, that actually, that is a confirmation of what I had done. I told them, wait and see. Everything is not clear.
Yeah.
So we have to wait and see. I cannot decide right now. So thank you very much, Maharaj. My heart is, that I had that burden with me. At least somehow I know I'm in the right way in the devotees. And just by attending these lectures, I'm overwhelmed. Immediately I learned something. But when you try to praise me, that's the difficult part, It's hard to appreciate that.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Okay, I won't embarrass you, but I can say more things too. But I will, in respect of your wish, I won't say more just now. But anyhow, you are also a source of inspiration. You see, we are suggesting now, let's try. We're mentioning Alachua, but in also other places, we can also say, let's try to have such a gathering, reading. And here you are, you not only saying to start something, you already started. And from beginning with 5, now you have 52 people coming. And also over the years, we know that some join and then they're going in their way. I mean, but they're getting nourishment for some time. So it's not only 52 people, and they're also influencing or meeting others. So we do not know the result of what we do. And we also know from the history, as devotees reveal how they come to Krishna consciousness, it can be in a very unusual way. In fact, many did come in a very unusual way. So we simply have to try, but with heart. We want to share these wonderful gifts of our masters. All right, today we've covered various things, and we've revisited actually the whole of Upadeśāmṛta, which is just very purifying in itself. And we can encourage each of us to keep Upadeśāmṛta on the front burner, as they say, for a little while. So we're becoming more and more, so we're really becoming familiar. So we can, at any time, we're out and about and we can think and relish these verses, the content of the verses at least. And as Paramananda Prabhu said, but understanding means doing, means actually leading the life that is indicated to us. This is the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Another shloka I know. Proof of the pudding is in the eating. We need to actually do these things. And we've got truly wonderful masters. When we see them, we cannot but think, yes, we must use our life properly and wonderfully. And then we have only 2 choices if we want to be happy: be a complete fool or be completely sensible. So let's go for the completely sensible. Let's be a devotee. And Praneshwari has given us a verse here. What's this verse?
Oh,
Yes,
no.
oh, this is the last verse, right?
Yes, the one that you read first.
Yeah, this is the last verse, yeah.
Maharaj,
Mudhatamo means not only a fool, but the greatest of fools. Yes, Praneshwari, you're going to mention.
I would like to say that those devotees that wanted to take initiation with Srila Acharya Dev and were in contact with him, and something was just like arranged, Srila Janardha Maharaj and Srila Bhakti Kushumachara Maharaj, they started giving Ritvik initiation to those devotees that were already in contact with Srila Acharya Dev. So that's a possibility. And I want to say that you have Dandavats from Anukul Chandra Das Prabhu, Swarnangi Didi.
Who?
Swarnangi.
Oh, Swarnangi Didi, Dandavat.
Krishna Kanti Didi, also in California. And someone that I don't think Kunkun Didi knows him, but the name is Bharat Chandra Das.
Bharat Chandra. Oh, Kumkum Didi knows something about him. He rides a motorcycle.
Fortunately, no longer.
Oh, yeah, mothers don't like their sons riding motorcycles. I've noticed that.
But you know, his childhood name was Bharat, son of King Rishabhdev. And when Srila Gurudev initiated him, and he said, Bharat means India, so Bharat Chandra is Mahaprabhu. And as soon as I heard that, I saw who I thought was my son in such a different light. He's Gurudev's. Gurudev has revealed who he is. It was quite astounding.
And also another example, Gurudev giving, as far as I know, a completely original name, but perfect description too of who is Mahaprabhu, Bharat Chandra. Jai, beautiful. I dandavat to all of the devotees on Facebook, the devotees who are seeing this also later, as well as to everybody who is here. So we're very happy to have this reciprocation. And Jai Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rock Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Vaga ki Jai. And Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Brinda ki Jai. All the assembled devotees ki Jai. One by one, name by name, each of you. Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So wishing you all a successful week. And next time we meet, it means the next program, somebody's Wednesdays and somebody's Thursdays, will actually be at the first public gathering program, and we hope to have some special guests to also talk with you. We'll be near Rome, the eternal city. What a thing to say. We're going to be just near Rome at a program there. So let's see what happens next week. We should have some VIPs some variety of VIPs to address you, we hope. Dandavat to you all, wishing you a successful Seva week. Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. I leave you together, but I need to leave. My time is up. Jai Jai.
Jai Shri Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki Jai.
Govinda, Govinda, Govinda. Remember Rupa Vilas Prabhu's final words, and then think of what my expression is. Dandavat.